and welcome back to the Graceful Tangle YouTube channel. I am so excited for today's video because I'm going to be showing you how to crochet an Afterthought heel. So we're going to go through the process of setting up this Afterthought heel so that it can be accommodated for any sock pattern, and then we're also going to go ahead and actually crochet the heel. So you can find the pattern for the socks that I'm going to be working on in this video in the description box below, as well as all of the materials that I used in today's video. It is a free sock pattern, so I recommend that you take advantage of that and crochet yourself a full pair of socks, and then of course reference this video along the way. I also have a full-length video tutorial on how to crochet a pair of socks, going through every single step of the process, but this video is just going to highlight that Afterthought heel setup and actual crochet process again, so that you can use it for any crochet sock pattern in the future. So I hope you enjoy today's video. Alrighty, so the first step in a crochet Afterthought heel begins right after the leg for the setup. And this is worked, again, right after the leg. We are working a cuff down sock. So we started here at the cuff. We're going to work all the way down to the toe. We have finished our leg. Now it's time to prepare for our Afterthought heel. And then we will work the foot, the toe, and then come back and work the heel. But in this video, all I'm showing you how to do is set up for the heel and the actual Afterthought heel crochet process so that you can use these instructions in any crochet sock pattern. If you want the video for the full crochet sock pattern, this is a free pattern in my shops. I will link it down below so that you can check it out. So for right now, I have just finished the leg of my crochet sock, and the heel is worked over half of the stitches. So I'm going to work over the first half of my stitches once more. So this is preparing for the next round. Now, whatever number half of your stitches is for you, that's how many stitches you need to crochet right now. For me, that is 24. So I'm going to work around 24 stitches, and then I will meet you back here for the next step. Okay, so I have just worked across 24 stitches, which again is half the amount of stitches that I have around my sock right now. If you're following my personal sock pattern, that stitch pattern will vary, but just know half is the perfect amount. So now I'm going to simply chain the second half of my stitches. So again, for me, that magic number is 24. For you, it might be different. Just take however many stitches you have around the leg of your sock, divide it by 2, and that is the amount of number of stitches that you need to chain. So again, that's 24 for me. I'm going to chain 24. Alrighty, so I am placing my thumb at the 25th stitch, and that is where I'm going to insert my hook, skipping all 24 of those stitches, and then I'm going to work a single crochet into that stitch. Be sure not to twist this chain as well. Kind of treat it as if you were joining in the round with that chain, how you want to always make sure that it's nice and straight. You want to keep that in mind as well for this part. Okay, and now we are just going to work all the way around our sock into these 24 stitches as well. And once you get back to the end, you should have the original number of stitches that you started out with. For me, that's 48. So I'm going to single crochet all the way around. I'm going to work across these, and then I will show you a tip for working across the chain stitches. Okay, so I am back at my chain stitches. I just worked into this very last stitch. Again, be sure to catch it. It can be a little bit easy to miss. Now, for these stitches, I have done multiple crocheted socks, and I've worked into this chain a few different ways. The best and most invisible way that I have found is to work into the backs of the stitches. Now, I'm going to be honest, it takes a little bit more patience to do this. It has a tendency to be a little bit more tight, and then of course when you go back and work across these stitches again for the actual heel process, it will also be a little bit tight. However, the seam is completely invisible, so if I bring back this sock, you cannot tell where I started my heel and where I finished the leg of the sock. Whereas on some of my other socks, I don't have one handy to show, unfortunately, but I worked into only the sides of these stitches. So I did it just as normal into like this part of the V here. And then when I worked back, there were little bitty holes. So, you know, whatever works best for you is completely okay, but I do recommend working into the back spine stitches for this step. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn the chain this way so that I can see the spines of those stitches, which is simply that back strand of yarn going behind our chain. And then I am just going to work into each of these spine stitches. Okay, so I have just finished working all the way across my chain stitches. If you're familiar with the Crochet Foundation chain, this is kind of what that looks like. You can see these stitches here at the bottom that look like just a typical single crochet row, and then it looks the same exact way on the top. So we will work into these stitches later for our Afterthought heel. Now what we are going to do now is simply continue working around this section of the sock, which is now our foot. We're going to work in whatever pattern you are doing, so whether that be just plain single crochet like I am doing or a special texture, whatever you're doing, keep up with that until your sock has had the foot completed. So you're going to go ahead and work your toe as well. Simply leave 2 inches to work the heel. That is that's how long the depth of the heel is, and that is so like right here is the tip of the heel. So we want to leave 2 inches to accommodate for the rest of the heel. So simply subtract however long your foot is, subtract the 2 inches, and then that is how long your foot needs to be. So I am going to finish the foot of my sock all the way through the toe. I will meet you back here to work our Afterthought heel. Alrighty, so now that the foot of our sock is completed, it is time to work the Afterthought heel. Now, if you're following this pattern, it's going to be almost exactly the same as the toe of your sock, so keep that in mind. If you're just adding this on to a already finished sock, then it might be a little bit different than what you did for your toe. So, to start, we are simply going to pick up a stitch along any of the skipped leg stitches. So we are simply going to insert our hook into literally any of these stitches. It truly does not matter which one. We're going to place our yarn over our hook, pull through, and then we are going to chain 1 to lock that in place. Always remember to work with your yarn that's attached to your ball instead of your tail. Let's be honest, we've all made that mistake, haven't we? Alrighty, and now it is time to actually begin crocheting. So we are going to start by placing 1 single crochet in each stitch around, as well as an additional stitch in each of the corners to prevent any gaps. So we are simply going to place a single crochet in that stitch that we did a chain 1 into, and then a single crochet in each stitch around. I am actually going to be crocheting over my tail for the first few stitches, just to go ahead and weave it in so that I don't have to worry about it later. You totally don't have to do that, but I personally like it because, like I said, you don't have to weave it in later if you do that. Alrighty, and I am just crocheting all the way around. Now, these are the skipped leg stitches, so they're going to be really easy to work into. Now, those stitches that we chained after skipping these leg stitches, they're going to be just a little bit tighter. So keep that in mind, but it is totally normal and not a bad thing at all. So I am almost to my corner here. I'm going to stop working over that tail now. I did it for a few stitches, so it is nice and secure. And I'm just going to continue, crocheting until I get to that corner. Okay, so here I am. I'm at the corner. You can see that I already placed a single crochet in that stitch. And then here is my corner where I have skipped the last stitch and then chained the first stitch. So I'm just going to place a single crochet stitch into that. Literally anywhere you see fit is perfectly fine. What we're trying to do is just eliminate any gaps that could occur. Now we are going to work into these stitches that we chained. Now remember that I worked into the spine of my stitches because in my opinion it gives the most invisible look. However, simply just work into any spot that you haven't already worked into in those chain stitches. And there should be half the amount of stitches that you should have had around the entire leg of your sock. For me, I had 48 stitches around, so I'm going to be working across 24. So I am simply going to insert my hook into each of these stitches and work 1 single crochet. Alrighty, so I have worked in each of those stitches, and now I'm going to place my corner stitch again, just where those 2 ends meet, and then I'm going to work across the rest of my skipped leg stitches until I get to the very first single crochet stitch that I did. And it looks like I am almost there. These stitches are so much looser than those chain stitches are. Alrighty, and here I am. Now I am not going to slip stitch or anything. Just like the toe of our sock, this is worked completely in the round without joining. So I'm simply going to single crochet into that stitch, just like normal. Not going to slip stitch, not going to chain, literally just single crochet into it. And then I'm going to place my walking stitch marker. And now I'm ready to begin the next round. So at this point, you should have however many stitches that you had for your leg. So again, that is 48 stitches for me, plus 2, because we picked up 1 stitch on each of the corners, again, to eliminate any gaps. And in this round, we are going to decrease by 2 stitches to get us to that original stitch count. Again, for me, that is 48. Okay, so I'm going to single crochet in each stitch, just 1 in each stitch around, until I get to the first corner, and I will work a single crochet 2 together into that corner. Alrighty, so I am to that corner now. I have these 2 stitches that I'm going to single crochet them together. Now it really doesn't matter which 2 you single crochet together. So here is my corner stitch. I could single crochet these 2 together. I could single crochet these 2 together. It really does not matter. I'm just going to do these 2 just for this sock. Again, it doesn't matter. The point is to get to that original stitch count in this round. And now I'm just going to single crochet again in each stitch until I get to my opposing corner. Alrighty, and here I am at my next corner. I am simply going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together, just like I did on the other side. And then I will single crochet in each stitch around to get to my beginning of round marker. After that, I will count and make sure that I have 48 stitches. Alrighty, so I have completed my second setup round, and I am back to my original 48 stitches, which is perfect. That's exactly what I need. And now I am ready to actually begin the heel process. So for round 1, we're going to take out this stitch marker, and we are going to work a single crochet into that next stitch, and then we're going to replace that marker. Now if you are using the pattern that is linked down below, this is the same exact pattern that we did for the toe of this sock. It's the same exact thing, the same 13 rounds, so you could either choose to keep following this video or just refer back to the pattern, whichever works best for you. But in this case, I'm going to walk you step by step through it again. So for round 1, we're going to start our decrease round. We're going to decrease during every odd round, and then we are going to simply single crochet in each stitch across in every even round. So for round 1, we are going to single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So remember that stitch that we just marked counts as your first stitch. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stitches. And then we are simply going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those stitches, just like so, and that brings those 2 stitches down to 1. We're going to repeat that all the way around. So again, that is single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. There's 3, whoops, if my hook would get unstuck, there we go, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then single crochet those next 2 stitches together. And again, we are going to repeat that all the way around our entire sock. Alrighty, and there we go. So now we're ready for round 2, which again, at this round 2 and every other even round for the duration of this heel is going to be single crocheting in each stitch around without any decreases. So just single crochet in that next stitch, remove and replace that marker so that you know where the beginning of your round is, and then single crochet in each stitch across. Alrighty, I have completed round 2 and I'm ready for round 3. I have gone ahead and removed and replaced that marker and worked a single crochet into that stitch, and that is also the beginning of my next repeat. So I'm going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches and then single crochet the next 2 together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Again, we're going to single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, 3, 4, and 5, single crochet the next 2 stitches together. I'm going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, I'm all set up for round 4, which is just like any other any other even round. We're simply going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around our heel. Alrighty, I'm all ready for my next decrease round. This one is going to be single crocheting in each of the next 4 stitches and then single crocheting the next 2 together. So I've already done this first stitch. I'm going to do 3 more to finish off this first repeat, and then I'm going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. So again, we're going to single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches and 4, and then single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Once more, repeating that all the way around. And there we are. It is getting smaller and smaller, which is always so exciting. It's time for our next even round, so simply place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Alrighty, and we're back. It is time for round 7 of our heel. I've already worked my first stitch. Our repeat for this decrease round is going to be single crocheting in each of the next 3 stitches and then single crocheting in the next 2 together. So that's 1, 2, and lost that one, 3, and then single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Once more, single crochet 1, 2, 3, single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Repeat that all the way around. Okay, we just finished that decrease round, so it's time for another even round, which is our work round. We're just going to single crochet in each stitch around without any decreases. Alright, I'm back to my beginning of round, so I'm going to work a single crochet in the next stitch for the beginning of my repeat, and then remove and replace that marker. There we go. And it's time for round 9, so we're going to single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then single crocheting the next 2 together. You can see that number in between each decrease go down and down and down. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches, single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Simply going to repeat this per usual all the way around our entire sock until we get back to that beginning of round marker. Alrighty, they're getting quicker and quicker. It's time for another even round, so we simply single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Okay guys, it's time for another decrease round. We only have 3 rounds to go on this Afterthought heel. Can you believe it? Okay, we're going to single crochet in this first stitch, remove and replace our marker, just like so. And then single crochet the next 2 stitches together. So that's our repeat for this round. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet the next 2 stitches together, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet the next 2 stitches together all the way around. Okay, we're down to our last 2 rounds. We're going to work our last plain single crochet round. So simply single crochet in each stitch around. And there are so few stitches now. I know it can be a little bit fiddly here towards the end because there's just so few stitches, but just hold it however is the most comfortable for you. And I am already almost to the beginning of my round here. Just a couple more stitches. And there we go. Now I'm going to remove my marker. And I'm simply going to single crochet 2 together all the way around. Your final number will vary just a little bit depending on what size you are doing. Again, this pattern is linked down below. I am going to be finishing up with very few stitches, guys. Okay, so simply single crochet 2 together all the way around. Just a couple more to go. Oops. And last one here. And there we go. Now we're going to finish off our sock by slip stitching in the next stitch to secure. And then we will cut our yarn. You want to leave a little bit of a tail to close up this hole nice and neatly, so just about 6 inches or so. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through that loop to secure it. Alright, I'm going to slide these things out of the way. And then grab your yarn needle and we are going to quickly close up this hole. So my favorite way to do this is to thread my yarn through my needle like so. And then go through just the front loops of each of these stitches with my yarn needle. So I'm simply going to insert my needle into the next stitch and pull it through. You could do a few stitches at a time, like this. You could do 1 stitch at a time. Whatever is the most comfortable for you is completely fine. You could also go through both loops or use a different seaming technique entirely. It's completely up to you. This is just the neatest way that I have found to seam up this hole. Alrighty, there we go. And then I am just going to thread through a couple of these stitches to make it extra secure. Just like that. And then I will poke my needle through the center of that heel in that hole that I just closed up. And then reach my hand through the leg, grab the needle and pull it through. And then I will weave in the end on the inside of the sock to keep it nice and hidden. And when you're all finished, this is what it should look like. Now, of course, it's going to look a lot smoother once it is completely blocked, which is what this one is. Here is your completed sock with an afterthought heel. I hope you enjoyed and learned from this tutorial and that you are now inspired to tackle your very first afterthought crochet heel. It is so exciting. I love afterthought heels for both knitted socks and crocheted socks, and I'm super excited to be able to come up with this recipe for this afterthought heel. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Like I mentioned, don't forget to check out all of the links in the description box below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and then click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to create more for you guys. But until next time, happy making. Bye.